I would agree with you, sir, that Círdan is one of the most important characters of all time. Not only does he tie the events of the entire First Age and Second Age together, but also the Third Age.
Straight into the fourth.
Straight into the Fourth. And it was my understanding that he had a beard.
Of all the elves.
Had a
You never
beard.
see any elves with beards, but he did.
He had a beard. Hello.
Well, hello.
Hello there. And welcome to the first ever Keep on Tolkien video.
We thought we'd come to you guys live today. Didn't want to wait a couple weeks for putting out an episode to talk about some of the big news that's come out recently.
Yeah, and so we just had a couple things we wanted to address with you guys. So let's get right into it. The first story that we have to talk about is the resignation of Christopher Tolkien from the Tolkien estate, which is it's pretty big news because
Pretty colossal.
it's pretty colossal because he is basically the reason we have the bulk of Tolkien's work, and so we wouldn't, without Christopher Tolkien, we wouldn't have the Silmarillion, we wouldn't have Unfinished Tales, we wouldn't have History of Middle Earth Volume 1 through 12. We wouldn't have the majority of his work at our disposal. So him retiring is a pretty big deal, and also Christopher Tolkien was one of the people that kept the integrity of the of his father's art. He really kept people from making shitty adaptations of his father's work.
He really meant to keep the literature pretty clean without letting people take liberties with it like most do with videos and TV series.
It was all about the legacy.
All about the legacy.
All about the legacy.
He had a lot of respect for his dad's work.
Right, which I do as well. So the thing being here, it's very sad, regardless of how you feel about Chris resigning, is a big deal. And the future of the Tolkien Legendarium is kind of up in the air right now because of it.
It really is. It's kind of getting to the point where we don't know for sure, but we kind of suspect a lot of the rights for Tolkien's work are going to be, coming up for grabs and getting dished out.
The frenzy will begin soon.
And it sort of already has.
And it sort of already has, which leads us into our next topic.
The next topic is the Amazon series. We thought Christopher Tolkien stepping down was probably the bigger story of the two. That's pretty colossal, like we said. But also, obviously, there's the Amazon series coming out.
And Chris. So this Amazon series that being announced is kind of a direct result of Chris resigning.
Of Christopher stepping down. Yeah, he technically stepped down at the end of August. Yeah, but due to obviously the legality of everything, it took him a little while to put out the official announcement, and it just came out on this past Wednesday, the 15th of November. He let us know. So that was a pretty big deal. But given the fact that he actually retired back in the end of August, I think that kind of says a little something about how this Amazon show came to be, now that he's technically out of the Tolkien estates. So back prior to him announcing his resignation on this past Monday, on the 13th of November, they announced that Amazon has officially purchased the rights to a multi-series Lord of the Rings TV series, a multi-season. They haven't really come out with too many details other than they've come up with the idea and they've sold the rights. There's no directors, there's no writers, there's no actors, there's no release dates. They aren't even officially saying specifically what content it's going to be on. They've dropped some hints, but at this point it's kind of up in the air. They did specifically use the title Lord of the Rings. It is a Lord of the Rings series.
Right.
Although there are multiple sources that have said that it's going to predate the Fellowship of the Ring, which could mean a number of things. One of the representatives from Tolkien Estates was talking about how they were actually excited about the collaboration going forward because up until this point, the Tolkien Estates had an ongoing lawsuit with New Line Cinema and whatnot over the previous Tolkien movies and the Hobbit film. But they got that resolved, so now this series moving forward is going to be a collaboration between the two, which is kind of exciting. And they said that it's specifically going to be on some of Tolkien's original content. Now,
Right,
I'm not quite sure what they mean by original content, but that could hint at some more first age, second age stuff. You know, potentially getting into some of the Silmarillion, although we're not entirely
certain
sure
at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know. So me and Joel have a little bit of a different outlook on this on this particular subject. Joel's more optimistic than I am. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready for this again.
So soon.
After The Hobbit, like, I can't do that again. I can't put myself in that position again. So I'm remaining very skeptical. If it's good, that's great. If it's not good, I'll just disown it, I suppose, and ignore it like I do The Hobbit. But yeah, I mean, it could be very good. And if, honestly, at this point, if they wanted to redo the whole trilogy as an extended format series, you know, more power to them. I don't, by any means, think that Peter Jackson has the definitive rights to, you
definitely
know.
not.
And a lot of people are saying that, like, they're like, it's gonna sully Peter Jackson's vision.
Well,
but
I think he did a pretty good job of that himself. So
right, he did a very good job of that himself with The Hobbit.
at this point, I think it's kind of up in the air. Like, if we were just talking about the original trilogy that Peter Jackson had made, there's a lot of respect for that. Like, a lot of us grew up on that. It is a fantastic trilogy of films. There's no doubt about it.
Christopher Tolkien, that being said though, Christopher Tolkien did hate the series.
He did. There were a lot of inaccuracies.
And if it were up to Chris Tolkien, he never would have sold the rights to The Lord of the Rings. That was actually done by Tolkien before he died.
Yeah, that was actually J.R.R. Tolkien himself sold specifically the film rights, not TV series, but movie rights for The Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit. That was back before he died.
Which is how we got 67.
Yeah, which is how we got those old The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings like cartoon movies. You know, those really old ones from like the 70s when we got the one full guy doing the entire soundtrack.
Yeah,
they're fantastic. But now that Christopher Tolkien stepped down, like we said, you can see that some of these rights are starting to get dished out already. You got the new Amazon series coming up. We're not quite sure what's next. I'm actually pretty excited about the potential. I know you're more leery.
I just don't want. I'm leery. I'm definitely leery.
A little leery.
I just don't want to see an over capitalization on the works of Tolkien.
At that point, that's what I'm expecting. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I feel like it's inevitable at this point.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that there will be some good content coming out along with it. One of the things that this deal included was a potential for a spin-off series. Now, the grammar that they use when they say that a spin-off series, I assume that only means one.
One.
I think that means a cap at one, but
yeah.
I guess I can't say that for sure. I'm just looking at how they phrase their statement.
Who knows?
So that could be something interesting. I know some people are fantasizing about like an Aragorn origins, which would be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be good for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but overall, we don't know a whole lot about the Amazon series.
Right.
We just know it's a thing coming soon. I guess.
They haven't given any kind of time frame on it.
No time frame. So we know it's in the works.
We know it's in the works. They did give us a little bit of money that they threw out there. I think the rights for the series was somewhere around $200 million, and then an article by the Hollywood Reporter estimated that the production cost for each of the seasons was going to be additionally another about $150 million or so. So all in all, at the end of things, folks are estimating that this could come up to be around $1 billion in cost. But like we said, everything's estimates so far.
So they're throwing some money at it. And there's some pros about Amazon doing it is that Amazon is a literature-based company. They started out doing books, so they obviously have a respect for literature. They do Audible as well, you know, which is devoted to literature as well. So I mean, if any of these huge people are gonna do it, maybe they'll do it better.
Right. In the hopes that translates into a more, directly canon type show, rather than taking too many liberties like editing out characters and editing in characters that don't exist, like female elves and
or dragon chases,
or Legolas being in it. If they bring Legolas back again,
okay. Well, let's not speculate.
Okay.
But
okay.
yeah. So we basically wanted to make this little video because we wanted to come out to you soon, and
we've had a few people send us some messages, just kind of asking our opinions at it. So we just kind of wanted to touch base with everyone, let you guys know what we know at this point,
how we're feeling,
and how we're feeling on it. I'm optimistic because I think the potential here is great, and the potential is what excites me. Granted, I'm also kind of hesitant to back it too much until I hear more about it. Who's the writer, who's the director, what kind of people are they trying to get in there, and more importantly, what content they're trying to cover. That's really what I want to know.
And I am extremely skeptical. But at the end of the day, I guess the proof is in the pudding, I guess, as they say. So we'll see.
We'll see when we see.
Once that pudding comes out, we'll see how good it is, I guess. In conclusion, I am extremely skeptical.
I'm a little more excited about it because I'm excited about the potential that it has. I'm also kind of leery, but I'm going to try to stay optimistic until we hear a little more about, who's in it, what the content is going to be, who's writing it, and all that jazz.
We'll see, yeah. Well, I mean, we've got time.
We'll see going forward.
Yeah, we'll see
but we just wanted to touch base with everyone because some folks have been actually messaging us and asking us about it, so we wanted to let you know how we feel. Here's some information on it.
Yeah, and so these are our opinions. So let us know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, and I'm sure we'll discuss this further in episodes. We just wanted to get this out to you faster because the way we record our episodes, it wouldn't have been out till close to a month from now.
Yeah, it would have been at least 2 weeks from now. So we wanted to touch base with this now for everybody, but especially with Christopher standing down. That was really the big story for us, was Christopher Tolkien stepping down.
Right.
With the news about the Amazon series coming out first, it's almost like that got swept by the wayside.
Yeah. Because that's the real story here.
That is the real story. For anyone who is a big Tolkien fan, Christopher Tolkien stepping down, that's huge. That's why we're getting the new Amazon series. That's why we could potentially get more stuff in the future in terms of Lord of the Rings related TV series and whatnot. So, also I'm just sad because that also means that Christopher is not going to be releasing any more of his father's writings.
Yeah.
That was really the big thing for me because, granted, obviously the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit are fantastic, but
all the best things came out because of Chris.
Oh, so many of Tolkien's best stories weren't published until Christopher put his work together and made the Silmarillion, the History of Middle-earth series, and then he published The Children of Húrin, which is an official novel on its own, and it's wonderful. And then more recently, the Beren and Luthien book, which was fantastic also. But it's the end of an era for that.
It is definitely the end of an era.
There are, however, a few more of Tolkien family members still in Tolkien estates. J.R.R. Tolkien's daughter, his youngest daughter, is actually still in there. I don't know how much of a role she'll play in this compared to Christopher, but also some of J.R.R. Tolkien's grandkids are part of it too. So we'll see how much of influence that they have on it. I kind of hope that they'll keep up Christopher Tolkien's kind of sticklerness for the detail, making sure that things don't get too
and to uphold the integrity of the art.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't want to see Aragorn bath soap. You know what I mean? And
I think that's
Bilbo peanut butter. I don't want to see it.
I'm just more so talking about the liberties that they're going to take with the stories. I don't want them throwing in characters.
I just don't want it to
cutting out characters.
It's bad enough with the films. They're capitalizing on.
Right.
I don't know. Then again, they did charge me $35 for the new book, so it wasn't cheap.
It was worth it.
It was worth it.
that was worth it.
Yeah. Well, alright guys, this has been our first official Keep on Tolkien video.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. We'll probably have some more of these at some point.
Yeah, we'll try to do some more regular video updates that could be fun.
Especially between season 1 and 2, we'll probably do a few at least.
Definitely. Hopefully you guys don't mind seeing
Yeah.
our faces.
Yeah, hopefully you'll still listen to us once you know how
We look.
hideous we are. So, well, that's all for us, guys.
That's all I got for you for now.
Yeah, we'll hit you up soon. I'm Danny J.
This is Joel N. And as always, guys, keep on Tolkien.
Keep on talking. Aure in Tulaba.